Hi again, everybody. You're traveling with me, Jack, and of course with my heavenly wife, Pam. And you may also be listening via our podcast, Love Letters to Pam, because this is going to be a message that probably is a little more suited for Love Letters to Pam as opposed to traveling. Of course, I am traveling. I'm traveling on the Highway 101 South right now. I'm between Santa Maria and Santa Barbara, California. I'm heading back to my home in Arizona after house sitting for dear friends along the Central Coast for the last couple of weeks. And I'm going to tell you, I did this last year. I stayed here for a couple of weeks as well in another home for some friends of mine. And it is always a very bittersweet return back to, sometimes I hesitate to say I'm going back home because, and some of you who have gone through loss may know what I mean. It never really feels like we have a home anymore after we lose our mate. And in my case, losing Pam. So I kind of say I'm heading back to where I live these days. And it's not all bad, but it's certainly not what it used to be. And as I'm traveling along today, I've got a lot of thoughts just flashing through my mind. This particular visit was probably the 6th or 7th time that I've been back to the Central Coast since losing Pam, which is now coming up on in just a few days, 4 years ago, when she was called to heaven. And every trip always provides some new and interesting little twist in the old grief journey, so to speak. This time, it seemed to be a little harder sometimes when I went to different places that we used to visit and go to. And I did a couple of programs on that earlier in my time here. I don't know, the memories are just so incredibly strong here because we lived all over the country. I don't know how many of you out there moved much. Some people never moved their entire lifetime. Others are like us. They used to kid us and call us gypsies. And sometimes Pam would get a little irritated about people kidding her about how much we moved. But we were just different. But the thing is, wherever we went, we made friends. Even when we were stuck in Syracuse, New York for a couple of years, and we were getting caught in lake effect snow, 2 and 3 feet deep, and we all hated cold weather and we hated snow. Look back on that, and yeah, we still made some dear friends there for life as well. And Pam used to tell me, she'd go, well, you know, because I'd go, well, maybe we shouldn't have moved so much. And she'd go, okay, let's look back. Which of our friends from all the places we lived would you like to eliminate? Wow. She certainly had words of wisdom. I've told you that before. So no, I'm going to say I don't regret any of the moves. Some people in life will say I regretted this or regretted that. I'm going to say no, didn't regret any of them. Now looking back on the Central Coast, this was the longest we lived anywhere. We were here for about 8-9 years the first time. And then we came back, as you know, a couple, 3 times after that. Total of, I think, 14-15 years we lived here. So this is where, of course, we had the most friends, the most deep-rooted friendships. On this particular trip, I can't even, maybe because I'm getting older, I can't remember everybody that I did see on this trip. It was amazing. And I spent a lot of quality time with different people. And that was even while I was still working. In fact, I said, gee, I kind of wish I was retired. You know, my job's remote. I brought it with me because there was so much else I wanted to see and do. But I'm going, well, doggone it, though, I got to work. So, you know, had to kind of put off things like that. But it still ended up being a very meaningful trip. And the point being, friendships are something that I'm going to tell you have been my lifeline in getting through this grief journey. What seems like a never-ending journey, because, you know, a portion of us is always going to have that grief with us. It's never going to leave you. There are a lot of people that tell you it should. Put it behind you, put it in the rearview mirror. But again, it's like the soul and the heart have been injured. And yes, you're repairing it as best you can. We continue to live life best we can, but you learn to live with the injury, or in some cases I've heard people say it's like living with some pain. But you learn to get through it. Athletes talk about playing through the pain, and I guess in a sense that's kind of what we're doing. We're playing or working through the pain. And it's important, though, to have people in your life. And I'm so glad that I have all these friendships because we have some great conversations. We get to share some great memories. The one thing, though, that I do know that became very evident to me on this trip was in terms of thinking forward, thinking about the future, planning for the future. That's the part that becomes so incredibly difficult when you've lost your soulmate. Because the fun in planning the future, at least with Pam, was just thinking about the things we were going to see and do as we got into later years. And when we talked about, we always said we'll never retire, but we may retire from our real full-time jobs and then get what we call fun jobs. And now that kind of seems almost like a dream. It's like, well, I don't know. Can I think of a fun job? What would be fun? And then I get back to, well, nothing's really that fun without Pam. Now, no, don't get me wrong. I have moments of joy. I do some fun activities. But then again, I'm still working through it and living with that hint of pain and injury that we have. We just have to work better at getting through it. And that was the thing on this trip. Pretty much all of our friends, we were all talking about retirement and plans and things like that. And it seems as though the vast majority of them, they know exactly what they're going to do. They've got a plan. They have discussed this with their spouse. And among all our friends, at least here on the Central Coast, everybody still has their spouses. Because again, lost Pam at a fairly young age, so that's to be expected. It's kind of unusual. And I'm glad they all still have their spouses. And it was funny. One of my friends one evening, I was over at their house and had dinner, and then we were watching football together. And his wife had to run out on an errand, and then she called him back and said, I need you to go do a couple things for me. Let me try and move this shade here because I know the lighting's terrible. Anyway, he actually was really, really nice about it. He goes, I bet you wish Pam could call and tell you to run an errand. And I said, you betcha. I said, I would love that more than anything. But the nice part is, when you have these deep friendships like that, they recognize those feelings. That's kind of nice. It really is. In terms of planning my future, it's still a gray area for me. It really, truly is. So I can honestly say it was good, though, to be around all these friends because I bounced ideas off of them. And they all had pretty good opinions and strong opinions that they were comfortable sharing with me, and I was comfortable hearing from them. Because again, I've allowed them into that space. You know, remember I've told you that unless we ask for advice, don't give it because you've not walked in my shoes. In this case, though, I asked all these different close friends, we were spending time together, their advice on different things. And that was nice. I don't really know where I'm going with all this other than to say that if you can, continue to cultivate and reach out to those friendships that you had. And I know a lot of people go that when you're a married couple and you lose your spouse, a lot of your married friends drop off the radar screen. I'm really happy to say there have been very, very few that have in my case. But I'm going to tell you, it's a two-way street. Pam always would say, that phone works both ways. Those airline flights go in both directions as well. And that's the reason I never hesitate for me to maybe be the one who reaches out to our friends the first time. For me to be the one that sends that email, who makes that phone call, who sends that text. I make a conscious decision to stay in touch with our friends. And of course, that extends to family as well. But we're talking more about friendships here. And another thing you want to be careful of, if you're getting towards those years of retirement and things like that, is if your kids are still fairly young, like mine are as well, you don't want to get into the habit of maybe moving around and chasing your kids because they're still young in their careers and they may tell you they are set for life, but you never know. Things change. Now, of course, as grandchildren come along, that changes things as well. And I had a very dear friend who had some good advice on that. He says, wait till the kids are, 3, 4, 5 years old, and because then you can actually do activities with them and like take them to the park or have them over to your place for a week. Now, that is, of course, if you just, the ladies, the women out there, of course, love babies, and that's going to be your thing. I may be speaking more to widowed guys here about, I love babies, don't get me wrong, but I'm probably a little better after they're out of maybe the diaper phase and baby food phase. I'm going to be a little better at that. And there are going to be some say, well, that's so chauvinistic or whatever. I'm sorry, I guess, that's just the way it was with us. But I did help keep our kids when they were little. Because Pam would work in the mornings, I worked in television in the evening, so she worked part-time mornings. So yeah, I changed my share of diapers. I did the baby food, put them down for naps. I know how to do all that. And I've probably just dug myself into a hole on this one. So just forget anything I said about kids and grandkids. You do you. You do what you think's best on that front. For me, someday when the kids do have kids, I think as they get a little bit older, that'll be a really fun time for me. But it'll be fun seeing them too when they're little. Oh, I got to get out of this, don't I? Okay, some of you are laughing at me now, I'm sure. But that's about it. I don't have a whole lot else to share other than work on those friendships. Work on those deep-rooted friendships. Even if some of your couple's friends and all, you haven't heard from them in a long time and they've dropped off, just make an effort to reach out to them. Just try it. Some may not respond, and I get that. But just think, maybe one or two who you thought you were never going to hear from again, but you reach out to them and they end up responding to you. It could end up being a really good thing. It really, really could. So that's about it. I hope maybe you've picked up a little something for this particular program. Keep subscribing to our channel. I really appreciate that. Give it a thumbs up if you're new. Share it if you're new. There's also a little donation button. I don't push that hard. And then stick around for the closing credit. There is a message from Pam that I've added to these. And I know some of our friends actually broke down and cried when they saw that I'd added her to it, because it may have been a little tough for them. And the first time I saw it, it was hard for me. But now I love having her at the end of my videos. I'm so thankful I found that video of her talking to you with her message about our channel, because it kind of still feels like she's a part of this. And that's the reason I've never changed the name, Traveling with Jack and Pam. So from the Highway 101 South, heading towards Santa Barbara, California, on the road to Arizona, I bid you good day. And as we always say, make it a great day. Better yet, a better tomorrow. Bye now.
Hi everyone, this is Pam, and guess who? Behind the camera.
That's right, Pam. I'm running the camera for you because you've got a special message.
I do. I would like for everyone to go to YouTube if you've not already and subscribe to our page, Traveling with Jack and Pam. We have so much fun going places and showing you these videos, and just would love for you to subscribe to us. So go do it right now.